New ideas are needed for eco-friendly mobility in big cities everywhere. That, of course, includes Africa and Europe. And on the show today, we'll be showing you some exciting new development in that sector. Hello and welcome to EcoAfrica. I'm Neota Egbe in Enugu, Nigeria.
And I am Sandra Twinobio here in the capital of Uganda, Kampala. Hi everybody and welcome to the latest episode of EcoAfrica. Yes, it is true, we have lots of interesting stories for you and here's a quick preview. We head to Burkina Faso to take a look around a new solar panel production plant. We'll also visit a company in Germany that has created a way to recycle used oil from cars and factories. And we'll also see how some people right here in Kampala want to make transportation more eco-friendly. Like many other West African countries, Burkina Faso has difficulty meeting its electricity needs. In the rural areas, less than 5% of the population is connected to the grid. Schools and medical centers are especially hard hit. In 2017, a European Union policy report highlighted decentralization and a more sustainable energy mix as possible solutions. And now, things in Burkina Faso seem to be moving in that direction.
The solar kit on this roof is reliable and doesn't require much maintenance. Oumar Guira says the €2,000 investment was money well spent for him and his family. He had to save up for a long time to be able to afford it.
I installed the solar panels 7 years ago. Now we have lights, a television set, a fridge so we can drink cold water. It's very useful. Since we never know if or when we'll be hooked up to the grid, we turn to solar.
Only 15% of the population are linked to the national electricity grid in Burkina Faso, so people buy solar kits instead. They can now be found at small local shops. And streetlights on major roads are also solar-powered nowadays. Here, in one of the poorest countries in Africa, a local business, the Faso Energy Company, has set up a plant to produce solar systems. It's the first in West Africa. The factory opened a few weeks ago. The manufacturing equipment and components for the solar systems are imported from Europe. The government waived import duties.
The production equipment is the very latest. It's very complex and enables us to make high-quality products. The panels we make are basically the same as models that have been certified in Germany.
Much of the manufacturing process is automated. But some steps are done by hand. 170 people work at the plant. Well over half of them are women. The solar cells have to be soldered to the panels manually to create the modules. The entire system has to be robust enough to withstand high temperatures. It can be 45 degrees Celsius in the shade here.
This is where we test the panels. When a panel comes out of the machine, we check all the solders to see if there are any cracks anywhere. If everything's okay, we wire the strings of cells together. Finally, we attach a serial number to prevent counterfeiting.
The company has stocked up on components in case supply chains are interrupted. There's a lot of competition on the market for solar panels in West Africa, especially from companies in Asia. Faso Energy aims to serve not only the domestic market, but neighbouring countries too.
The production line ends here. This is where we store the finished products, classed by output. We produce 200 panels a day, the equivalent of 30 to 80 megawatts annually.
The company's main customer is the government, which aims to boost the share of renewables in the national energy mix. It wants to reduce electricity imports and cut down on the use of diesel generators too, to reduce costs and minimise pollution.
The Energy Ministry launched the Backup Solaire program, and our agency is implementing it. It enables citizens as well as small and medium enterprises to buy solar panels by providing them interest-free loans. Since we started the program last year, more than 4,000 companies and people have benefited from it.
As it shifts from generating electricity with fossil fuels, the government is promoting solar with renewed vigour. It's planning to build 16 large solar farms over the next 2 years to provide green energy to entire city neighbourhoods.
Every year, the world generates tons of used contaminated oil. The question is, what to do with it? It comes from many sources, including cars, trucks, and industrial plants. Wouldn't it be great if it could be recycled? Well, a company in Germany has developed a technology to do just that.
Oil is used for 1,000 different things, but when it's old, it has to be discarded. Much of it is just burned or ends up in rivers, lakes, and oceans. That poses a huge problem for the environment. What can be done about it? There might be a technical solution, a machine that recycles oil. To put it simply, the oil vaporizes in just a few milliseconds. It's heated and the vapors are collected and processed into the oil's basic constituents. These range from base oil to a diesel component and a petroleum-like component. These can be recycled on site. In other words, made into new oil products and sold to a dealer. Or they can be turned straight into electricity and used to produce energy. The machine can process up to 2 tons of waste oil a day. 90% of it is turned into reusable oil. 10% ends up as residue that can be used in road construction. The machine is transportable and fits a standard cargo container. At 350,000 euros, it doesn't come cheap.
And how about you? If you're also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
If you look at traffic jams in places like Lagos or in other big cities in the world, it's clear that we must make changes to the ways we transport both people and goods. So it's a good that researchers around the world are working on alternatives that are environmentally friendly and sustainable to enhance the way we live.
They are indeed, Niyota. The research is not only about the way we power vehicles, electricity, hydrogen, biogas, and so on, but also about the different kinds of vehicles, whether cars, buses, or trains. Let us visit some engineers at a university in Germany to see what they've dreamed up.
At Aachen Technical University, or RWTH, scientists are working flat out. They want to develop new kinds of environmentally friendly mobility for the future. Leading the charge there is its director, Günther Schuh, a man with big ideas. His dream was an electric car that everyone can afford. He believed big car makers weren't interested. So in 2017, Schuh founded the company eGo and built his own factory. Overnight, the scientist became a car maker.
Engineers don't have the privilege of conducting research only with the aim of gaining new insights. Unlike other disciplines, we're obliged to carry out research according to its relevance. We take that very seriously here at Aachen University. So whatever we dedicate our resources to researching, it has to be of use to society. And you also have to be strong enough to fight for things that you think will be good for society, even if the establishment doesn't want them.
Günther Schuh and E-Go changed the German automobile market. The Trailblazer's success is inspiring his colleagues at Aachen University to realize their own ambitions. For them, he's a pioneer that opens doors for others to go through.
People would always say, you researchers are academics, you all sit in ivory towers. He broke this stereotype. He showed that universities can also bring new products to the market, successfully bring new products to the market. And we profit from that, of course.
It's showing the way for all of the issues surrounding mobility. We are very happy that he is here in Aachen and that he is helping, even if just subconsciously, to take us all to another level. In my opinion, without Günther Schuh and E-Go, we would not have secured the funding for this project.
The team is developing an innovative project with its roots in outer space. In order to connect the cabin of an electric bus to an overhead cable, a highly complex clamping device was developed from satellite technology. Bypassing traffic jams from above, that's the vision. Under the direction of Professor Kai-Uwe Schröder, they've come up with a new concept that has really taken off.
I'm now of the opinion that we have found the key to what mobility might look like in the future. Because we've solved so many problems, by lifting transport up above the ground, we've freed up the space below and can return it again to the people.
It's hoped the People Mover will be at the center of the university's cable bus project. The small electric bus is the latest innovation from Günther Schuh. When the Aachen University crews work on mobility ideas, they often examine how autonomous driving technology can be integrated. For that reason, project leaders are meeting with colleagues from the Institute for Automotive Engineering at Aachen University. They're at the forefront of research into autonomous driving.
We aren't working on systems that need to be put in production tomorrow, but we can take our time to find something for the future.
The researchers are testing the concept in one of the most modern simulators in the world. Here, they're looking into how the movements of a driverless bus impact the senses of its passengers. This prototype, called Speedy, has already passed through the simulation process. Kitted out with the latest technology, it aims to provide a driving experience fit for the future.
It's about improving mobility, not restricting it, and making it environmentally friendly. My job is not only to make that happen, but to try it out and test it with my young team so that they're excited about this journey and then want to pursue it their whole lives.
An excitement that drives innovative ideas and that can change the way we travel in the city and beyond.
Wow, those are really interesting ideas and inventions. But what about here and now? 2 graduates of that same university in Germany have come up with a modest project that could make a really big difference in Kampala. It's already helping quite a few people and could well help many more once the pandemic is over and the roads are even busier.
Francis is one of the few people in Uganda driving an electric motorbike. He sees a lot of advantages to it.
Number 1, it is silent. Number 2, doesn't consume fuel at all. Number 3, via hills, it climbs very well.
Okia's food delivery is being eagerly awaited by a pregnant customer. Since he saves on fuel, he can charge less than his competitors.
He's actually very cheap, cheaper than any other border guys. I think the other people double their price. So literally it has been convenient for me.
In Kampala alone, there are about 130,000 motorcycles or boda-bodas. The masses of motorized vehicles generate a huge amount of air pollution. That is why the United Nations Environment Programme provides advice and financial support for electric mobility in Eastern Africa.
We need intermediary responses, we need intermediary interventions, and electric mobility is one of those because it is easier to adopt, requires little infrastructure, they don't emit, so you can have a complete switchover and go on a low carbon development path.
That path requires pioneers like Ben Lokeris Koryang and Jakob Hornbach. The graduates of Aachen University in Germany had a pragmatic idea: take the already existing fuel motorbikes in Kampala and transform them into electric bikes.
So all we remove is what you call the petrol powertrain, petrol-driven powertrain, and we put an electric powertrain. So as you can see, it's the same bike. Fuel tank is empty, of course. And what we put inside is mainly a controller, an electric controller, an electric motor, a battery as a source of power, replacing the fuel tank, and some digital controls and a throttle.
Lithium-ion batteries recovered from old laptops are assembled into rechargeable battery units for the e-bike. And the recycling loop continues, even when the batteries become too weak to use in the e-bikes.
So what we do is get the newer batteries, use it for e-mobility. After that, when they lose a bit of power, we either put it in storage systems, like power banks, or power reserves. And once it loses again, loses a bit of power, we go to torches and other smaller applications before it goes to be disposed.
Delivery man Francis Okia is one of the 20 drivers testing the transformed bikes. On average, he has to return to border work twice a day to recharge. He rents the batteries for the equivalent of less than €3 a day. All in all, this has cut his operating costs by half. But there is still one thing that bothers him.
We won't have one place where we swap the batteries. Yeah. That is the disadvantage I always get.
The feedback that we are getting from the border guys is also awesome because it doubles their income. So families, school fees, we see kids being brought from the village that are now schooling in Kampala because the riders have more money.
This rider is German engineer Daniel Dreher. He had worked for a solar energy company for several years before he decided to try to make Kampala's motorbikes cleaner. With his startup Zembo, he now imports cutting-edge electric motorbikes from China. Each one sells for about €1,000. That's quite a bit of money. But the drivers can pay over a period of 2 years. And the e-bikes are tailored to their specific needs here.
Our driving mode is different than a Chinese person commuting to work. Here we really look into productive use and hundreds of kilometers every day.
Good ride? This is a good ride. Okay. How many customers did you have? All deliveries?
The startup has sold 20 e-bikes so far, and they expect 80 more within the next 2 months. Zembo is already creating employment. Sarah Tabu couldn't find a job for 2 years. Now she's in charge of marketing.
Actually, it makes me feel very, very proud of myself that I'm contributing a lot to be part of the great team which is actually contributing to e-mobility.
For a small fee of just over €0.50, a Zembo driver can exchange an empty battery for a fully charged one. The Zembo e-bikes are fully green since the electricity comes from the solar energy array on top of the company's building. This green technology behind Francis Okia's deliveries is a sign of hope in 2 ways: providing for people's needs in the lockdown and for a cleaner country once the pandemic is over.
I hope the sun continues to shine and there will soon be lots more recharging stations. Electric transporters and taxis could make a big difference in terms of pollution, especially when the traffic picks up again. And now we move on to Ghana to learn more about yet another innovation. Can you tell us more, Newton?
Yes, indeed, Sandra. It's something that was designed to help tackle a major problem in the country. Illegal logging, farming and mining are driving rapid deforestation. But nowadays, where there's a problem, there's usually an app to help solve it. And that is the case here too. An app that lets people monitor what's going on in their area and report cases of illegal logging. Let's see how it works.
The man using this app wants to remain anonymous because his life would be in danger if the wrong people caught him collecting data here. He uses the app to report timber thieves who fell trees illegally in northwestern Ghana.
Many of us have been trained, so when a passerby sees any felled tree, we're alarmed, and then we collect data. That's how we found this tree.
This teak tree, an endangered species, was felled illegally, sawn into pieces, and a large part of it was taken away. There must have been between 5 and 10 men involved with heavy equipment. To track down the wood poachers, the NGO Nature and Development Foundation sends local observers into particularly affected areas across the country. The project is financed with EU support. The reports from the over 200 observers are collected at the organization's headquarters in the capital, Accra.
Most of the alerts recorded on the platform indicate illegal chainsaw use to convert logs into lumber in situ at the sites where they are illegally logged. Based on this, the project has been able to identify some sites which have been relayed to the Forestry Commission for action to be taken.
Douglas Edu Hayford is one of the monitors working for the organization. Today, he is checking up on reported cases and documenting the damage. The timber thieves have not yet finished their work here. There's still wood waiting to be transported, and even a canister of drinking water.
This illegal chainsaw operation was on the ascendancy, but with the advent of the project, the illegality of chainsaw operation happening in off-reserve area has been suppressed by the trainings and capacity building programs which were organized for community members and monitors.
The timber trade is one of Ghana's most important industries. Tropical woods are sold all over the world. They include rare timbers that sell for high prices. John Bitar and Company is the largest timber processing firm in northwestern Ghana. It says it's committed to forest management certification. The label guarantees that wood products come from sustainably managed forests. Initially, there was a lot of local resistance to the giant timber company here in the region, even though it pays a special tax that goes straight to communities.
There was much friction between the company and the communities when we were about to start the logging. There were instances where timber trucks loaded with timber would be blocked by the French communities. But right now with this EU NSA projects, there is the understanding between the industry, that's John Bitar and Company, and the forest French communities.
The Nature and Development Foundation not only works to prevent illegal deforestation, it also mediates between local people and industry. Resistance to the timber monopoly has eased, and instead, there is more cooperation. In the village of Bediei in the south of the country, residents are using taxes from the timber industry to build their own hospital. Every day, hundreds of timber transports from the region head for markets throughout the country, to places like Ashaiman, a suburb of Accra. In this big timber market, the origin of the wood is not checked too closely, but the head of the Market Association insists that the proportion of wood with a certificate of origin is on the rise.
We have taken the timber as our business. So when there's no timber in the forest, we lost our business. So with that, it is protected. Then we can have it to sell every time.
Things may be changing in Ghana's forestry sector, but there's still plenty to do for the local monitors who make fresh discoveries of illegally felled trees almost every day.
We have reached the end of this technology-packed edition of EcoAfrica. As you can see, There are so many innovations that could help us protect the environment and enhance our lives. But for now, the time has come for me to say goodbye. I'm Neo Taigwe signing off from Enugu, Nigeria. Bye, Sandra.
Bye, Niota. I do look forward to seeing you once again next week. And it is a goodbye to all of you out there as well. But do be sure to tune in next time. Until then, it is a goodbye from me, Sandra Twinobdio, here in Kampala, Uganda.